The central station of Nexus Prime buzzed with the chaotic symphony of 1,000 different species, going about their daily routines. Towering Krillians with their crystalline exoskeletons pushed past the slithering Vespids. Merchants from the Andromeda sector hawked their wares while diplomatic envoys hurried toward their shuttles. It was just another ordinary day in the greatest hub of interstellar commerce in the known galaxy. In the middle of Platform 7, a small figure sat huddled against a support column. The child couldn't have been more than 5 cycles old, with pale blue skin that shimmered faintly under the station's artificial lights. 2 large, luminescent eyes leaked silvery tears that pooled on the metal floor. The young Zithran clutched a torn satchel to their chest, trembling. Hundreds of beings passed by. Some glanced briefly before averting their eyes. Others stepped around the crying child, as if they were merely an inconvenient obstacle. A Gorvan merchant nearly trampled the small figure with their 6 legs, muttering something about vagrants and proper supervision. Not one stopped. Not one asked if the child needed help. This was the way of the galaxy, after all. Everyone had their own problems, their own destinations, their own lives to worry about. Compassion was a luxury few could afford in a universe where survival often meant looking out for yourself first. Mary Harrison had been on Nexus Prime for exactly 3 hours. She was supposed to meet her research partner, Dr. Oreo Kendrick, at Platform 12, but she'd gotten hopelessly lost in the labyrinthine station. The translator implant behind her ear was still adjusting to the cacophony of alien languages, giving her a splitting headache. She was tired, frustrated, and desperate to find a quiet corner where she could reorient herself. That's when she heard a sound that cut through the noise like a knife. A child's cry. Soft, broken, utterly heartbreaking. Mary stopped dead in her tracks. Her brown eyes scanned the crowd until they landed on the small blue figure, pressed against the column. Without thinking, her feet carried her forward. She knelt down beside the child, her worn jacket brushing against the cold station floor. "Hey there," Mary said softly, her voice automatically translated by her implant. "Are you okay?" The Zithran child looked up with wide, frightened eyes. Those luminescent orbs studied Mary's face with a mixture of fear and desperate hope. The child's small mouth trembled, but no words came out. "It's all right," Mary continued, offering a gentle smile. "My name is Mary. I won't hurt you. Can you tell me your name?" The child's voice was barely a whisper. Oreo Mary's heart clenched. The same name as her research partner. What were the odds? "That's a beautiful name, Oreo. Can you tell me where your parents are?" Fresh tears spilled down Oreo's blue cheeks. "Lost. Ship left. I was looking at the ships through the window, and when I turned around, they were gone. I've been here for..." The child's voice broke into sobs around them. The crowd continued to flow like an indifferent river. A few beings glanced over with expressions Mary couldn't quite read. Was that disdain? Suspicion? Annoyance? But none stopped. None offered help. "How long have you been here?" Mary asked, keeping her voice calm even as anger began to simmer in her chest. "2 cycles of the lights," Oreo whispered, pointing at the artificial day-night illumination panels overhead. 2 days. This child had been alone and crying for 2 entire days, and no one had stopped. Mary felt something shift inside her. She'd heard the rumors, of course, that humans were soft, that they were weak for caring about strangers, that their tendency toward empathy was an evolutionary flaw that would eventually be their downfall. In a harsh galaxy. But looking at this terrified child, Mary couldn't imagine any other way to be. "All right, Oreo," Mary said firmly, extending her hand. "Here's what we're going to do. You're going to come with me. We're going to find the station's security office, and we're going to locate your family. And until we do, you're not going to be alone, deal?" Oreo stared at Mary's outstretched hand as if it were the most precious thing in the universe. Slowly, the child reached out and placed a small, 3-fingered hand in Mary's palm. As they stood up together, a Krillian officer finally approached, his crystalline face reflecting the station lights. "Human, what are you doing with that child?" "Helping them," Mary replied, her voice steady, something no one else seemed interested in doing. The officer's mandibles clicked in what might have been disapproval. "The child is Zithran. Their kind breeds quickly and often abandons." "Stop right there," Mary interrupted, her eyes flashing dangerously. "This is a lost child. A scared, alone child who has been crying for help for 2 days. I don't care what species they are. I don't care about your prejudices or your assumptions. We are going to find their family, now for a moment." The officer seemed taken aback by the human's intensity. Then, perhaps recognizing that arguing would take more effort than helping, he nodded. "Follow me to the security station." As they walked through the crowded platform, little Oreo gripped Mary's hand tightly, and for the first time in 2 days, the child stopped crying. What Mary didn't know was that dozens of beings were watching this interaction. They'd see her stop when no one else would. They'd see her challenge authority for a child that wasn't even her own species. They'd see the human do what an entire galaxy of advanced beings had failed to do: simply care. Word would spread, as it always did in places like Nexus Prime. The story would be told in 100 different languages across 1,000 different worlds. And though many would continue to call humans soft, others would begin to wonder if perhaps that softness was actually a strength. In the security office, it took less than an hour to locate Oreo's parents. They'd been frantically searching different sections of the massive station, having reported their child missing immediately. The reunion was tearful and joyful, with Oreo's mother embracing Mary repeatedly, while speaking rapid Zitharan that the translator could barely keep up. With Dada's Mary finally made her way to platform 12 only. 4 hours late she found Dr. Oreo Kendrick waiting with an amused expression. "Let me guess," he said. "You stopped to help someone." Mary grinned tiredly. "How did you know?" "Because you're human," Oreo replied simply. "And apparently, that means something." Mary looked back at the crowds moving through the station, at all the different species going about their lives, and smiled. Yes, being human meant something, and she wouldn't have it any other way.